On October 30th, 2012, Disney announced that it acquired a deal with Lucasfilms for $4.5 billion, approximately half in cash and the other half in shares in Disney stock. If you look at the photo of George Lucas sitting next to Bob Iger, you could tell by the look on his face he wasn't happy with it. Later on, George Lucas would be quoted as saying,
"These are my kids." So
all those Star Wars films.
All the Star Wars films.
They were your kids.
Yeah, well, they are right. You know, I loved them. I created them. I'm very intimately involved in them, and obviously to
and
sell
you
them
sold
off,
them.
I sold them to the white slavers that take these things and
indeed he did. At the beginning, many Star Wars fans thought, oh, this is great, finally, a sequel trilogy that doesn't have George Lucas. Because at the time, many believed the prequels were horrible. God, hindsight is 20/20 indeed. The new Disney sequel trilogy was nothing short of a bastardization of everything we once knew and loved. It spawned the Rilo fan base. It came up with such memorable characters as Rose Tico. My God, she looks like Jackie Chan with a wig on here. Remember her? If you didn't like her, you're a misogynist. They gave us John Boyega, whose best line in the movie was screaming Rey.
Finn!
No! 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 Run!
And it gave us Kylo Ren, the movie that then made Adam Driver into a movie star, a man who was about as interesting as watching wallpaper dry. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, picked up on Bound Into Comics, in this clip, Rian elaborates further on his thought process when it comes to making films. Since YouTube and The Hollywood Reporter are both equally lame, and I got hit with a copyright for using a clip from this scary great video, which at the time of viewing only had 15,000 views. And frankly, if you have a YouTube channel with over 600K subscribers, and you can scarcely get 15K views when someone directed Star Wars, your YouTube channel's on life support. The Hollywood Reporter asked Rian Johnson this. Whether you're writing, let's say you're creating your own universe, you said you don't think about actors. You are starting something from scratch. How is that approach versus something where you have a pre-existing universe? If you write characters for Star Wars, you have this universe. You have characters that everybody knows. Do you find your approach is different for that? Spoiler alerts, you know the answer to this. Johnson will respond, no, not at all, because I don't really think in terms of universes, in terms of creating worlds or whatever. That's not interesting to me. Yes, a brilliant approach. I'm going to work on a trilogy. I'm not going to think about what comes after this movie or what happened before it. I'm going to keep doing things my way because I'm Rian Johnson. I am a god among men. I may be the size of a chicken McNugget, but I am huge. You understand me, boy? Get me my boxed water. He continued. The only thing that is interesting to me is story. Well, judging for the story of The Last Jedi, he doesn't even know how to do that. Hell, he wasn't interested in his own story. And the story specifics to, like, whether you're writing for a Star Wars film that's part of a 3-movie trilogy or a quote-unquote original thing like Knives Out. Yes, the movie that people will remember for generations. Rian Johnson's Knives Out. After this reporter gets her answer from Rian Johnson that pretty much cements to everyone that already knew he didn't give half a fuck about Star Wars, people went into a rage. At least the people still cared about Star Wars. There's 2 camps of Star Wars fans now. There's the original Star Wars fans before the Disney trilogy and the new Star Wars fans that come from the Disney trilogy. And they are toxic as they come. These people literally are called Reylos, and they live in some fantasy world where Adam Driver, or should I say Ben Solo, is the greatest creature ever created. The fact that he was killed was like an affront to all of mankind. Think about it. There's a disease going around, messing up the whole world, and there are still people worried about Ben Solo dying, a fictional character, and they're worried about K-pop idols. Future historians are going to look back at this time and go, wow, I'm surprised they all didn't die because they're so backwards. You know, when you think about like the old days when the bubonic plague and stuff happened and you think, wow, how come humans didn't die? They were so stupid back then. That's how people are going to view us when they look at this time in history. But that's a whole other rant. Rian Johnson was a cancer to the Star Wars trilogy. The fact that Kathleen Kennedy, who should be fired without a shadow of doubt, the fact that no one at Disney has gotten their nuts up and said, I don't care if you're a woman and you menstruate, you're the hell out of here, Missy. You don't know how to make a film. You make poor decisions. The Force isn't female. It has no gender. Didn't you hear what Yoda said about the Force? That rock over there, those trees. I'm not going into a Yoda voice. I'm sick, honestly. It flows and surrounds us, binds us, and tickles our nuts. Not in those exact words, but the Force is tickling your nuts.
You must feel the Force around you. Here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes, even between the land.
Point being, she hires JJ, kill a series, do everything again, copy-paste Abrams, who literally made a Star Wars movie that was a remake of A New Hope because creatively bankrupt. My God, J.J. Abrams, if he doesn't have someone holding his hand with a good story, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. These shots look cool. What am I going to do? Let me watch the old film for some ideas. I'm going to copy this, and this. Ooh, red stormtroopers. Ooh, I'm so creative. Then he runs off to do God knows what, maybe worship Satan. Who knows how he came into power, but the devil must be involved. I'm joking. I'm not religious. Then they hire Rian Johnson. Kathleen Kennedy is a fucking fool. At some point, she says he really knows how to write strong female characters. If you don't believe me, look it up yourself. I'm not in the mood to do like a 4-hour Google search to try and find a 3-second clip to satiate people's appetites. I'm sick. I'm dying. Let Corona take me. Rian Johnson puts out a film that literally ignored everything that happened in the last Star Wars film and then ignores everything that ever happened in Star Wars, period. The man was absolutely amazing. The film starts off by making one of the main bad guys that work for the Empire a complete buffoon. I don't even know why they had General Hux. Because honestly, it's like his character arc changed so drastically over the 3 films. 1 minute, he's like one of the leading generals. By the end of the last film, he's all of a sudden a spy who's helping the rebels. If you didn't see the movie, who cares? Go ahead, get angry if it's a spoiler. He's helping the rebels. And he's so quickly disposed of, it's not even funny. It was so stupid. And he was like, I don't care if the rebels win, long as Kylo doesn't win. What does that even mean? Between these two ass nuggets, Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams, like literally, it just shows you the difference in creativity between them and George Lucas. Say what you want about Lucas. Yeah, I wasn't fond of the prequels when they came out, but they're masterpieces compared to this. Basically, within this 2 minutes, Rian Johnson just explains to you that he doesn't really think of a grander scheme. He sort of just writes little movies to be done in 2 hours. He doesn't have an overarching story, which is fine if you're doing a one-off film. But if you're working on something like Star Wars that you know is a trilogy, why in God's green earth would you have this sort of approach? It basically means he didn't care, which we all know. And in fact, all the fighting with fans online and shitting on previous Star Wars fans. Remember when he went on that campaign to tell everybody, when The Empire Strikes Back came out, nobody liked that either. BS, you're a liar and you know it, dude. Like, cut it out. You know you're on a bad course of action when literally Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker, tells you to your face,
I fundamentally disagree with virtually everything you've decided about my character.
Rian didn't give a quarter of a shit. Never let Kathleen Kennedy or Abrams or Rian touch a Star Wars franchise. To this day, I don't know why anyone picks up Abrams for Star Wars. I do not know. Look what he did to Star Trek. Now, if you look at every point of the film, like Luke Skywalker trying to kill his nephew and then going into hiding. What, dude? Luke Skywalker? He wouldn't even kill his father, Darth Vader? The dude went through hell and high water to become a Jedi? Just so he could face Vader and Palpatine against the advice of Yoda? This is a guy who went headlong into challenges to try and better himself and save people. All of a sudden, Luke might just kill his nephew and, oh no, I think my nephew's strong. I'm gonna go hide in some rocks. Oh, and the death of Luke in that movie? He's a Force. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm remembering the film. Oh God, it's like PTSD. Everything about it was trash. Rey got little to no training from Luke, and somehow she can move tons of rocks on a level not even Yoda was doing at his prime, dude. Rian Johnson's knowledge of the Force was absolutely disgusting. His knowledge of Star Wars was absolutely atrocious. His writing is atrocious when it came to Star Wars. I don't know anything else he's done, and frankly, after seeing Star Wars, I couldn't care less. I could not care less. My God. The audacity, really. And technically, he can move off his life and keep making films, and it's kind of like, whatever. So he shit out a bad Star Wars film. Let's fast track him to make more trash.